What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. As usual, thanks for stopping by. So today we picked up a driver's side mount from Taco Garage. Shipping was cool, got here pretty quick. The reason why we're gonna go over to the driver's side is, I don't know, recently I did a scangauge 3 install on the Tacoma. I'll put a link to it here if you guys want to watch that. I had a decent spot for it, but like the 3M double-sided tape has like kind of fallen apart now. That's all this hot and cold that we're going through here is kind of just, it's done. So I came across this. I thought it was pretty cool. Kind of gets it out of the way, gives it a good spot. I haven't seen anybody else install one of these yet. Only the Taco Garage install, so we're going to work through it here. And it's pretty dope how it kind of works out. It kind of will tuck in above like the AC vent on the driver's side, so it's kind of going to be out of the way, and I like that. And it ain't going to be like up in your face because the scangauge is pretty big. So I should say I also picked up from them a magnetic mount. The kit that I bought comes with a ball, and then also a little tiny arm. We'll see how this works out. I will put a link to the kit and everything down below. But let me get you in the truck real quick, and I'm going to show you. We got to start making some markings and some cuts. I mean, you do got to put holes in your dash, but that doesn't bother me as this whole thing is cut up already. So let me get you in the truck, and I'll show you where it's going to go. All right. So in the truck, what we're going to do is put this right here and get it in there as far as you can. What I want to do is just make it nice and tight. Make sure it's rubbing up against there. Like, make sure I don't want it to come out here, so I'm kind of forcing it that way, up against this spot here, and then I'm gonna just go ahead and mark, try to fill that whole hole, the whole hole, and mark this one right here too. You're gonna feel it like you gotta kind of push it down in it. That's what I want. I want it to stay tied up against there. So once you have those marked up, go ahead and get ready with your drill bit. We're just gonna put some holes right in the center. Nice and easy. Alright guys, so right here's a quick little test without the backing plate in. This is, essentially, it does feel kind of sturdy, but obviously we got to get the backing plate in here. So in order to do that, we got to pop off the trimmer on the AC vents, and then this guy too. Mine's a bit of a pain because I have the where the fuck is that fucking from again? Damn, so I have the 3T PAM up there, so mine's a little bit more of a pain. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock that out, and then we'll be right back just to be able to pull this off. We'll get the backing plate in, and we're almost done. I should say too, before you put this on, if you notice like a little bit of schmutz back there, like when you drilled, just go ahead and use a razor blade. Get that little bit off, and that way it'll allow it to kind of sit flush right up against it. All right, so I got the AC side off. You can see I got the Expedition Essentials rack sitting right up there. It's not that bad to take off. It takes me like a minute now. When you first get it, it's gonna take a little bit to get used to it. Now it's no issues. But I left this one on here so you can see me pull this. You want to pull from like right here. It's a little corner, like. So once we're here, we're gonna take the backing plate and just line the backing plate up. It'd probably be easiest to get this bottom one first. The kit comes with, let me make sure I'm on camera. Both of these screws. The ones for mounting the actual piece are gonna be these black ones. You're gonna use the ends, and then these two holes here are for this to mount your balls. So from here, all I'm trying to do is line up this bottom hole with this spot right here. So if I get this like right there, that's perfect. Then, yeah, nice. I'm gonna do this. We're gonna try thread this bad boy in there. Think I got him. Checking the back here. Yeah, I got it through. Okay, so one thing you want to do is when you install this like this, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you install like this, don't try to force it up. This part right here comes up. Just go over the top this way, and that way it'll sit in there nice. And now we're gonna line up this top one here. Don't screw this one in all the way. Like slide this up into there first. Grab your second little shorty. Get this one going. I'm gonna just grab the piece behind it, make sure they're all lined up. All right, now I got those two nice and tight. I'm gonna go ahead and hammer down on these little ones at the end. Those are the keepers that are gonna make them stay there. Perfect. Man, perfect. I kind of like this. It's real low pro. It's super tight with that backing behind it. So I'm just gonna go ahead, before we go anywhere else, let me throw everything back in here first, and then that way you'll have an idea of what it looks like here. All right, let's throw this guy back in here. Sometimes it's nice and easy if you get these clips underneath, like the gauge cluster. Might work. Sometimes it's a pain. That worked. I'll take it. Perfect. Give you a nice idea of the fit here. Got a nice finish. That still works. Ain't going anywhere. Perfect. The other thing you could do, depending on what you're gonna run, you know, there's obviously gonna be a wire coming out of here somewhere for whatever you're gonna put here. So if you wanted to cut a hole into this, have it come out or whatever, I'm probably gonna run it back through here and then down underneath here. But let me get these vents on. All right, peeps. We are here. I got everything back in. I have a sticker over the magnet over there. It kind of took me a little longer because I just took the magnet off and replaced the sticker. It gets a little beat up every time the magnet hits it. But we're gonna take this one off because what I want to do is use this mount here. So we're gonna leave this one off. So I'm gonna start with here's the ball that came in the kit, and it does come with some thread locker in there, which is really cool. Throw this in there. Get this one in there nice and tight. And I think pretty sure it's just a standard 1-inch ball. Nice. Now, low profile that is, which is pretty cool. Now, the kit that I bought, this is the little short arm. I didn't want the big arm because, you know, the actual, like, the scan gauge is pretty big, so I didn't want it to come kind of floating at me. I kind of want it just like right here in this area. So what I'm going to try to do is get this in here, and then I'll show you how we're going to do the scan gauge. And don't quote me yet, but I'm pretty sure they have like different colors of these, which is kind of cool. So I'm gonna take this as the ball that came with the kit, and then this is the magnet. And like, guys, this is a super powerful magnet. All right. So what I'm gonna do is throw this on here like this, because you gotta kind of get them both of the balls in here before you tighten it down. Want to be able to get this on and like just a little tight so that it doesn't go anywhere. Perfect. Now go this like this. All right, cool. So I mean, I feel like that kind of general vicinity is where we're gonna end up at. I do need to get the wiring out and up for the scan gauge, because it's kind of, I just have it kind of thrown down here after it peeled off. So what I'm gonna do is, though, I'm gonna unplug the scan gauge. Oh God, don't drop it. Caught it. Which is kind of cool. In the kit that I got too, they gave you this sticky kind of metal piece. I thought I was gonna have to source one of these out, which obviously sticks onto there. So I'm gonna put it onto here and then get the scan gauge kind of in this vicinity. But I don't want to throw it on here just yet. I want to be able to like fine tune it a little bit. So what I want to kind of do is get the wiring up, figure out how it sits, and then figure out exactly where I want to stick the gauge. Because if you put it in the middle, you know, it might stick out too far. You kind of gotta work with it a little bit and then figure out where that wiring is going to go. So pretty much just like that. You can kind of run it this way too if you want to hide it a little bit better. But there's that. You tuck all this, let me put all this away here. So in all fairness, I know you probably guys can't see it. I do have so much wiring tucked into here that my kick panel doesn't, that little clip right here, doesn't always stay all the way in. But that's one of the byproducts of wanting to run Toyota style switches versus just like a Knox box. All right, let me hop in here real quick. Then, so to kind of, this thing, it plugs in the middle. So once I'm plugged in here, I might be able to squeeze it. See, I don't know how I like it kind of floating like past, like it's not covering this section up here, but I feel like that's probably going to be the best bet because this is smack dab in the middle. Unless I'm, oh, I don't hate that. I can actually maybe get this up to about right there, and that way it is nice. All right, I can live with that. Well, right there on the top, right here. So essentially, when we stick the piece on, we're gonna stick it on in like this section here somewhere. Let's see. Make sure it's clean. And so, you know, too, the kit came with a couple of those metal pieces. So I got a couple of them, some of the bigger ones, some smaller ones. So if this doesn't work out, there's always some extras in there. And then from there, obviously, if you have a bigger arm, you probably get away with like moving it over here more. But I don't hate that, and I actually feel like that's kind of in a decent spot, and it's not like all up in my face. So I kind of dig that. All right, guys, so once I got to do it with the truck on so you can see the gauges. Once you kind of get it, obviously it's going to turn on. It's going to ask you to set it up, right? Once you go through, so if I go back to here and I go to setup, at this point was where you would pick what colors you want. You would plug in your vehicle, how you want to measure the units, adjust. I'm not going to mess with speed or anything because I'm never going to monitor fuel or anything like that. And then you had your advanced stuff, which is I don't even mess with. But essentially, once we get to this page here, is where you would pick your gauges. And then in this, when you hit your settings, is where you set how you want the gauges, your layouts, your monitors. You know, these are the stuff that I like monitoring. So that's for the guy who yelled at me about not showing you guys how to find this stuff. So oil temp and trans temps are going to be under settings. Here's your standard stuff. So that won't be standard. What you need to go is to X gauge, and that's where you'll find your trans temps, your oil temps, you know, stuff like that, alternator percentages, your tire pressures, all that stuff is in the X gauge section, which is right up here, X gauge. Since I already have mine set up, this is how I like to run mine. I normally will do the oil temp right there, both my trans, coolant temp. I like the battery voltage. If you look, I got a new tune, so I'm running an AGM now, so it's pumping out 14.4, which is perfect. 14.5, I've had it up as high as 14.7, which is good, you know, everything in. Here's the tire pressures. They seem pretty even with what's stock, so that pretty much handles it. As far as the install, I'm going to try to get the phone by my face so you guys see what it looks like when we're driving, because it's kind of tucked and it's not so far out, and I kind of like that, all right? Give me a second here. We can confirm. I mean, this is hard as shit, man, to do this. Like when you're sitting in the vehicle, you see how it's kind of in a good spot, like it's completely out of the way with this mount. And then you also have another spot right here if you wanted to mount something else, something smaller and out. I like it, I dig it. I gotta run with it at night to see if it's too bright and it bothers me. But you know, and you have, obviously it's a magnet, right? So you have options on how you want to line this up. I kind of like it right there. Cool. All right, fellas, if you need anything else, just let me know down below. I'll have the links to everything and then the scan gauge as well. Yeah, so you guys be good, stay safe out there. Taco Garage, perfect product. I love how low profile it is. It's awesome, man. Thanks a lot. You guys be good. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Be safe out there.